guys, my name is Becca and welcome to another Readathon TBR. Oh man, I thought I was going to be able to escape from the Readathons this month. I've been pretty much participating in a lot of Readathons the last few months, and I thought I was going to take a break this month. I didn't think there was going to be any Readathons that I was going to want to participate in, and little did I know there's going to be two. I'm participating in Tome Topple around 7. I posted my TBR up, so that should already be up. You can watch that one. And then right after that, I found out that there's another Readathon that I wanted to participate in. There's technically a third one as well, but I don't know if I'm going to participate in that. I just don't know if I'm going to participate in that one, so I'm not going to even talk about that one. But this one is the one Readathon to rule them all. This was created by Ashley. Oh, what's her channel name? I don't have a degree in reading, I think is her channel name. I'll link it down below. And I found out about this Readathon from Zoe over at Your Book Nerd Zoe, I cannot talk. And this is a Lord of the Rings, like, themed, inspired Readathon. And I love Lord of the Rings so much. And each different place in Middle-earth has a prompt, and you just pick a book that fits that prompt. The only thing you have to work, like, oh my god, why can't I think of what to say? You just have to read fantasy. You can read any type of fantasy. It doesn't matter, like urban fantasy, high fantasy, magical realism counts. Yeah, any type of fantasy counts, no matter what it is. As long as it has fantastical elements, I think you're good. It runs from the 17th of November to December 1st. So it's pretty much a 2-week-long readathon, just like Tome Topple is. Though Tome Topple is the 16th to the 29th of November. So it's 2 weeks. And they both started pretty much the exact same time. Oh man, I have a lot to read. Not all of the books for my monthly TBR fit, so I have some books behind me that still need to read this month. Don't know if it's gonna happen because I only have a couple of days before both of the readathons start. I don't know why I do this to myself, I really don't, but I really wanted to participate in this readathon, and so I'm going to. Okay, so the prompts. There are different routes you can take to get to Mordor, because that's the main objective, is to get to Mordor and throw the ring into the fires of Mount Doom. That is the main objective for this readathon. There are different routes you can take to get to Mordor. The first route is the speedy Voyager route, and that is literally you're in Mordor, read a book, you won, you completed the challenge, you're done. You could do that. The second route is the tourist special, and that is you start in the Shire, you work your way to Rivendell, and then you arrive to Mordor. Route 3 is the ultimate backpacker. You start in Bree this time. You travel to the Mines of Moria, then traveling on to Rohan, then on to Minas Tirith, and then finally in Mordor. Then the last route, Route 4, is the nomadic traveler. And that is just to complete any and all challenges. You know, whatever you want to do, you do it. If you want to just complete like 2 out of the 4 routes, go ahead. Yeah, I think that's how that works. There are a few places that weren't mentioned in the routes, but you can still read a book for. There is the Fangorn Forest, Lorien, Helm's Deep, Isengard, and Gondor. They all had prompts. Alright, so I'm gonna end with Mordor. So I'm gonna start with the prompt for the Shire. Because you know me, I'm just going to try and read a book for each and every prompt. The best thing about this readathon is that you can double up, triple up, or quadruple up for any and all challenges. Doesn't matter. You just gotta make sure that you complete it. So if a book fits for 3 challenges, that works. And that's great. Okay. I had to like literally just switch around so much. I thought I had my TBR all picked out, and then earlier I was like, well, that'll work for this one, and for the other one, and for another one. So it works out perfectly. Because I didn't think I had something for everything, and who knows, I might not stick to this TBR, but for now, it works. So, okay, we're starting in the Shire. The prompt for the Shire is to reread a favorite, and for me, I had so many for these, but I decided to ultimately to go for this for Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I love this book so much. I've been really wanting to reread it for a while. And it's funny because I didn't like the original trilogy. The Grisha trilogy was not my favorite. I liked the first. I really loved the first. I enjoyed the second. The third one I was really upset about. I did not enjoy that one at all. Especially I did not like the ending. But yeah, I really, really love this duology. Six of Crows is just so good. I love my characters, my Kaz, my Inej, Waylon, Jesper, Anya. Why can't I remember? The last one. What is wrong with me? Why can't I remember him? Why can't I remember his name? Matthias. So yes, this will count for that. I remember loving this book, giving it 5 out of 5 stars, so it's definitely a favorite, and it works for this challenge. So that is my challenge for the Shire. Sorry, didn't realize my blanket was in the way. Alright. Then we move on to Rivendell, and the prompt for that is just to read in LGBT plus representation. Something that has LGBT representation in the book works for this prompt. For me, I'm choosing, look at that, Six of Crows. If you've read this, you know. I'm not going to spoil it for you because, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by it. And I'm not going to spoil it. But if you've read this, then you know what I'm talking about. And this is perfect for that prompt as well. Okay, so then Bree. The next place is Bree, and that is to read a book that is not European influenced. So a fantasy that's not European influenced. Pretty much a lot of fantasy is European influenced, to be honest. But what's great about if you watch Zoe's video for it, if you look in her description, she has links to a lot of like a Goodreads pages, other sites that will list certain fantasies down below that fits for those prompts. She has many lists for that, and one of them, I didn't know this, for some reason it didn't occur to me, but An Ember in the Ashes was one of the ones that is not European influenced. So it was perfect because I had A Torch Against the Night on my monthly TBR by Sabatier. So yeah, I am going to be reading the sequel to An Ember in the Ashes this month. I've been needing to read it this month. It was chosen for me, so that is what I am doing. And I'm glad I could fit that in because not all of my monthly TBR fits, and I'm worried I'm not going to be able to make it. So at least I'll get one of them done. Let's see. Next is The Mines of Moria. Read a fantasy with horror or spooky elements. This was so hard. I don't know what exactly counts I'm going with The Grim Lovelies by Megan Shepherd. This is about a witch who was murdered, and this witch had made beasties. Like, she transformed beasties into humans, and so they could be like servants to her, kind of thing. And then she gets killed by this guy, or this person, we don't know who it is. The killer's on the loose, they're trying to track down the killer. I'm going, that can be kind of spooky because it is about a murder and beasties. I don't know. I'm going with it. That's all I could think of. And again, this is on my monthly TBR, so I really need to read this. So, working it in there. Alright, let's see. The next one is to Rohan, and as to read a fantasy with a female main character. I think this could count too. This could count too. Well, I mean, Kaz, well, they're all like main characters. It's the six, or I'm sorry, not Kaz. The Six of Crows. Yeah, Laia and Elias, they're both main characters, so that works. I mean, maybe this would work too. This is what I was thinking of in my head while I was looking at that one. Kaz, I guess, is the main character, but they all have a POV. And so Anya and, or not Anya, why do I keep calling her Anya? Nina and Inej both have like POVs, so they're main characters. There's 6 of them, they're main characters. So yeah, any of those could count, but I'm going with Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevers. If you've watched my Tome Topple, you know why. Actually, the next one I'm going to pick up also could work for this as well, but I need to read this, so yeah, that's what's happening. Oh, and it says Assassin Nuns. And this is also a reread, and I'm pretty sure I really love this. I remember loving it when I read it, so this could work for the rereading a favorite as well. So hey, I have options. The next, we travel to Minas Tirith, and that is to read a fantasy, just a straight fantasy, whatever it is. Any of these could work, but I'm going to go with Outlander by Diana Galadin, because I need to read this too. If you've watched my Tome Topple, you know. Pretty much what I have on my Tome Topple, it's on here too. I'm doubling up for these readathons, okay? But yes, Claire is the main character for this, so it works for a female main character as well. Again, really need to read this for that too. Alright, then, so I'm not going to talk about Mordor yet, so we're just going to go with the ones that aren't in the routes. But we have Fangorn Forest, which is to read a fantasy with mythical / supernatural characters. I think this will work. Pretty sure it'll work. We're going to go with it. Don't think I really have anything else that could work. Maybe this one, but I haven't talked about this one yet, so I'm not going to show you. But I don't know. Maybe it could work. Maybe. Yeah, I guess it could. Next is Lorien. This one was hard. To read a fantasy not published by the big 5 publishing companies: Macmillan, HarperCollins, Simon Schuster, Hachette, and seriously, I can't think of. This happens every time I'm trying to think of Simon Schuster, HarperCollins, Macmillan, Hachette, and Penguin. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about Penguin. But yeah, those are the big 5, so don't pick one that's by them. They have a lot of imprints and subsidiaries and stuff like that, and it's just hard to find a book that's not associated with any of those 5, but I'm pretty sure, because I'm not 100%, that Grave Mercy, which is published by HMH, I think this works. I don't think they're an imprint or a subsidiary. I've kind of tried to look it up and I couldn't find anything that connected them, and normally on the back it'll say that they're an imprint or something of another like larger company. I didn't say that, so I'm going with this. I'm going with this one. Let's see. Next place is Helm's Deep. Read a standalone fantasy. You know how hard it is to find a standalone fantasy? I don't know of, I'm trying to think, do I have a standalone fantasy? I don't know if I do or not. This could count if it's a standalone. Is this a standalone? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be a series. I didn't really find a good job of finding one that I already own that could be a standalone fantasy. I have the Song of Achilles. Is that a standalone? Because I know, like, they say that Circe is like a companion to it. So does that even count? Probably not. It's really hard to find a standalone fantasy, guys. At least one that I own or I have around me. I could try and find something in my library, in my library stack over here. Maybe I have something. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can find that's a standalone. I don't know. The next place is Isengard, and as to read a fantasy with a villain main character. I could reread Vicious for this. I could pick up Vengeful. I have not yet picked that up. This also works for that because they're outcasts. They're pretty much thieves. They're people nobody likes. Yeah, they don't do the, they don't do it all the honest way. I still love them. I don't care. They're, a bunch of criminals. I love them. And so yeah, this works for that. It is on a list that, that's what made me think of it. I was like, oh yeah, Six of Crows can work for that. It's also a favorite of mine, so that would be reading a favorite. And it also has LGBT representation. So this could work for that. Who knows, so I could pick up Vengeful again, or not Vengeful. I could pick up Vicious again, or I could finally pick up Vengeful. I don't own it, so that's my issue. I don't really want to go out and buy a book. I could see if the library has it, but I would really want to reread Vicious first. So this could work for that. And then lastly, or not lastly, but the one before Mordor is Gondor, a fantasy with a person of color representation. I want to say somebody. I want to say, is it Jesper or Waylon? I want to say it's Jesper. That is a person of color. I want to say, I'm not entirely sure. This also works not just for characters, it works for authors as well. Like, it could be a side character, main character. Somebody has to be in it that's a person of color. Torch Against the Night could work. I mean, all of the characters on here are people of color. Saba Tahir herself is a person of color. These could work, but I could also just read Saga Volume 8 for this by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. Alana herself is a person of color. Yeah, I mean, trying not to, really show anything graphic or anything in here. I have yet to read this. I've been wanting to. Come on. I want to be able to show them off without, spoiling anything, but yeah, I mean, there's Alana. Marcos, I guess, could also work. But yeah, I mean, this works. So, I could choose this one. I really do need to read this one. Volume 9 came out. Though I heard that these two, Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan, have went on a hiatus after Volume 9. And apparently, Volume 9 will rip your freaking heart out. Great. Okay, last, certainly not least, you have arrived in Mordor. And the way to, end the readathon is to read a conclusion to a fantasy series or okay, so the prompt is to read a conclusion to a fantasy series, but standalones work. Also, the latest installment in a series works. I don't know how this works, but apparently it does. I have chosen Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor for this. I'm pretty sure this is a conclusion to the duology, so I'm picking this one. I need to read this one very badly. I've also seen something at the end. I didn't spoil myself or anything, but it literally says the end, or is it? So that confuses me. Is this the end or not? But, okay, so if it's not the end, it still works because it's the latest installment in the series. But I've heard it's the conclusion to the series, to the duology. So, we're going with this one anyway. So yeah, I need to read this badly. I need to read all of these. I mean, the only one I don't, well, yeah, the only one I don't actually really have to read is this one, because I've already read it. But I needed to fill the prompts, so I really want to reread this one anyway. Though, if you can't, already tell what I've done, after like, I don't know how I did this to myself. I really don't, but I did. Like, I don't know if you could tell. Like, the only one that's not so long is this one. And this one doesn't, like, this is under 400, so that's not so bad. But the rest of them aren't. They're all over at least 450 pages. Let's see. Grave Mercy is well over 500. It's like 566 pages. Great. Outlander. Yeah, that one's going to be great. Let's see. Oh, I think I'm reading, yeah, that's Dragonfly. 627 pages. Torch Against the Night. I know this isn't 500 because I wanted for Tome Topple. Wouldn't work. 452 pages. Still, that's a lot. Six of Crows. 462 pages. And then Muse of Nightmares, which is like 514 pages. And I have 2 weeks to read them all. Plus the rest of the TBR. What have I done to myself? I don't know what's wrong with me. And this won't take me like a day to read. This will take me like maybe a week to read, if not more. Like this isn't a quick read. This is going to like, this is probably going to be the one that I'm going to regret the most. Just because, yes, I really want to read it and I need it for like Tome Topple and stuff, but it's like, this is probably going to be the one that'll hurt the most. I mean, I could technically put this down and not read it for Tome Topple. So I think this is going to be the one that if I cannot get to it, I'm not going to like force myself to get to it. And I think this will be another one that I won't force myself to get to. Because technically, all I need to do is read Muse of Nightmares and I've won the Readathon. And I'm not following any challenges for Tome Topple. So as long as I read, tomes, I've won the Readathon. So, I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily have to read Outlander if I don't necessarily want to, but it was something that I have been, like, meaning to read, and I do have the other ones, and I do want to get another one. So, yeah, well, I'll let you guys know how it goes at the end of the readathon. I mean, you'll know with my weekly reading updates as well how I'm doing. But, yeah, I'm just, like, digging myself a hole. Oh man. So yeah, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you with another video. Happy reading.